She's much more than a woman.
Hello.
Much more than your average reporter.
Get me the White House, please. Are you okay?
Much more than any man could handle.
What do they want?
You. She's a star.
Here's to the star.
Brenda Starr.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Are they in the proper approach pattern for today?
Negative.
All the weapons! Now! Charge the lightning field.
There's not a ton here, so...
You could do your, intro or whatever.
I know. Yeah. Welcome back to Dispatch Ajax. This is Jake.
I'm Skip.
I'd like to take a little detour into the magical world of Brenda Starr, the Star reporter.
Not just a clever name, so it's...
Exactly. This was supposed to be the comic book movie pioneer that never was.
Interesting.
So close.
I do remember reading Brenda Starr comic strips. Unfortunately, never read reprints of Flash Gordon or Buck Rogers strips, but I do remember Dick Tracy and Brenda Starr.
I had never read Brenda Starr. In fact, I don't think I knew anything about Brenda Starr up until a couple years ago. But that's my own lack therein, because Brenda Starr has been around for decades.
Oh, absolutely.
A long, long time. In fact, Brenda was created in 1940 by Dale Messick, the woman herself, in case you didn't know that.
Essentially right after or contemporary of Lois Lane and Dale Arden.
Yeah. Technically, her name was Delia Messick, but she wrote under the pseudonym Dale Messick, probably to try and fool some men that might give her a job. She was working during the Great Depression, doing greeting cards, and then got to do some comic strips. And I would think it's safe to say that Brenda Starr was her big creation and her claim to fame. Brenda Starr would go on to star from 1940 up until 2011 in the Chicago Tribune Syndicate.
There was a whole genocide of comic strip characters that decade.
It's also been a steady decline, both in newspapers and in comic strips. So, easy cut. I'm not saying she's an easy cut. It's just comic strips in general were an easy cut.
It's incredible that it lasted that long.
Yeah. It's funny that, although set in Chicago, initially Brenda Starr was the only Chicago Tribune Syndicate strip not to appear in the Chicago Tribune newspaper.
Oh, man.
Which is odd. It debuted in 1940, like I said, relegated to a comic book supplement that was included the Sunday Chicago Tribune. Soon it did appear in the Sunday paper, and a daily strip was started in 1945. During the 50s. At its height, the strip appeared in 250 newspapers around the nation. By 2010, the strip had only appeared in 65 newspapers, and 36 of them were international. So she stuck around, has always had a bit of a following, even a niche as it might be. So Messick considered kind of a, quote, girl bandit named Brenda Starr, whose looks were modeled on the famous film star Rita Hayworth.
Nice.
And named after popular debutante Brenda Fraser. If you don't know anything about Brenda Fraser, she was maybe the Paris Hilton of her times. She was kind of famous for being rich and good looking.
Well, that's what debutantes came from, those socialites. They were all famous just for being famous.
Yeah, but she was so heavily publicized that she appeared on the cover of Life magazine just for being rich and famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't do anything. She had debutante balls, and that's it.
Yeah.
Messick had a lot of trouble getting the thing started. Her boss refused to run it and put it in other papers instead. But after the strip was established, they would still have resistance. One thing that pops up in the movie, here's a spoiler for the future, is that whenever Miss Messick would drew in cleavage or navel, the syndicate would erase it. She was once banned in Boston after showing Brenda smoking a polka dot cigar. So there's still a tight grip on what she was allowed to put out in this comic strip.
Ridiculous.
So Brenda Starr, reporter, was then published as a comic book series by 4 different publishing houses. The first was 4 Star Publications in 1947. That was followed by Superior Publishing. Was it Superior? Who knows? In 1948 through 49. And Charlton Comics in 1955 carried the series, as well as Dell Publishing in 1963.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Most recently, Hermes Press has been reprinting some of the Brenda Stars. So if you're looking for a current publisher, that would be the place to go. But Brenda did not just stay on the news strip or the comic pages. She did make it onto the small and big screen. For over the years, there have been 4 film and TV movies based on the comic strip.
Oh, I knew it!
The first was Brenda Starr Reporter, a 1945 serial with Joan Woodbury in the title role. A Brenda Starr movie produced for the TVs that starred Jill St. John.
Oh, of Bond fame?
Yes.
Knew it!
Diamonds Are Forever. Yes.
Oh, have you not gotten to that point in Venture Brothers yet?
It looks like some evildoers have entered our lair.
Oh, we're in for it now, Jonas. And they appear to have a growth ray.
Go, Team Venture.
No, I am like 80% positive that is Jill St. John and Stella Stevens.
One of the hottest Bond girls of all time.
Maybe. I don't know. You have a more,
Blue Morphos, during the Blue Morpho stuff. Okay, you haven't gotten there yet. That's okay.
They just moved to New York today.
Okay, we'll get there.
Okay, I don't know.
So, within the next 10 episodes or less, they will be a Jill St. John reference that I laughed my ass off at. Yes.
Ideally, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will know what you're talking about.
Yes, and it'll be very funny.
All right. So yeah, Jill St. John was playing the leading role. This was released in 1976.
Sorry.
They then tried again for a Hollywood feature in 1975 with a TV movie starring... Oh, I just said that. Never mind. Yeah, they had the movie that was released in 76 by Jill St. John. This was directed by Mel Stewart, who did Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, yeah.
Also had Sorrel Book, Boss Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard.
All right. Dressed the same, I'm sure.
So this was set in modern day. St. John was beautiful and charming as always, but it didn't have a whole lot of action, tonally and visually. It really was not that distinguished from a dozen other newspaper-based TV shows around the time. It was like made-for-TV movie, kind of like a long pilot. It did not end up getting picked up as a series. There was also an unsold pilot starring Sherry Jackson that was produced in 1979. You might know Sherry Jackson as Andrea from the original Star Trek TV show.
Oh!
In What Are Little Girls Made Of?
Oh! She is hot as... Okay, yep. I know exactly who you're referring to. Do you want me to send you the picture of the outfit she wears in that episode?
No, I just saw it. And so they made another long extended TV pilot, but that was never actually released. And in 1981, it had been reported to the papers that Deborah Harry would star in a new film version with George Hamilton as Basil St. John. Basil St. John is kind of like her love interest counterpart.
Not surprised that didn't go anywhere.
Oh, with Deborah Harry and George Hamilton?
Yes.
I don't know. In 1984, a small production company called Tomorrow Entertainment, under Myron Hyman, obtained the rights to make a movie about Brenda Starr. Their idea had been to make a low-budget film that could be a high-quality TV movie. Tomorrow Entertainment hired James Buchanan and Noreen Stone to pen a script for them.
Former President James Buchanan?
He needed something to do. Hyman says he began getting calls from Terry Shields, the mother of Brooke Shields.
Uh-oh.
Brooke always wanted to be Brenda Starr, Hyman said. I guess Brenda was something of a role model to Brooke when she was a little girl. Well, Brooke's a lovely girl, and I said of course we'd consider her. Eventually, Terry told Hyman that she also had an investor who wanted to put money into the film. This investor was Sheikh Abdul Aziz Al Ibrahim. The brother-in-law of Saudi King Fahd.
I'm getting real Roar vibes from this, right?
Just settle in. See where this little journey takes you.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right.
So, apparently the Sheikh would help finance things over 3 conditions. Brooke Shields had to play Brenda Starr.
Oh boy.
The film had to be a first-class production made for theaters, not for television. And no advanced distribution deal would be negotiated.
Oh boy.
The producer Hyman agreed, so Ibrahim's representative created Mystery Man Productions. This is a New York-based company to finance the film. Yeah.
When nobody asks questions. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, sure. So Buchanan and Stone eventually were called to the offices of Mystery Man Productions. These were not people who had ever made a movie, Buchanan said of the representatives. They said things like, on page 22, you will introduce a dream sequence. It was that sort of thing. They were calling the shots for this script.
Oh, boy.
Finances came through the Bank of Credit and Commerce International. The Ibrahim family was among the bank's largest depositors. Mystery Man hired Robert Ellis Miller to direct, and Bob Mackey designed all of Brooke Shields' dresses, which were actually really good.
This is one of the first big Middle Eastern investments into American pop culture, which you would see later on.
Yeah, I'd have to do some more deep diving to find out the timeline of things, but this was definitely like on the cusp of them really sinking their teeth into that kind of thing.
Now they just buy up football teams.
Hey, you got to sports wash stuff somehow. All your blood money.
Your slave labor.
Yeah. Delia Ephron was called in to rewrite the movie. She subsequently removed her name from the film's credit, using the pseudonym Jenny Wolkind instead. That's usually a good sign.
Alice Smithy.
So Mystery Man obtained limited rights to Brenda Starr's character from the Tribune Entertainment Company, owners of the comic strip, in April 1986. But the company failed to obtain TV rights. This is something that will play into the whole saga later on down the road.
Okay.
So filming started in July of 1986. Now, at this time, Brooke Shields filmed it over her summer break from Princeton, where she had been studying. The film was shot in Jacksonville, Florida, and in Puerto Rico. The budget originally was $15 million.
She was in a blue lagoon of some sort.
It was hot stuff. Now, her co-star, well, I'd say her main love interest, maybe not even her co-star, Basil St. was played by Timothy Dalton, who was cast as James Bond for The Living Daylights. 3 days after completing his work on Brenda Starr, he went off to shoot that film.
And we've done a whole thing about that, about how Pierce Brosnan got fucked. And that's what led to Timothy Dalton taking that role.
Oh, yeah, the Remington Steel stuff.
He was literally at the press conference backstage being announced as the new James Bond, and then NBC decided to just to fuck him over to renew Remington Steel for a second season as he was going out. And then that's when you get Timothy Dalton. Which I like Timothy Dalton as Bond. I have no problem.
Too. Yeah.
I like both of those movies, honestly. I think they're kind of underrated.
I totally think they're underrated.
Especially considering most of poor Pierce Brosnan's movies are really bad. No, they're all really bad. They're all bad. There's one that's okay, but yeah. I would take Timothy Dalton's movies over those any day. Fuck Goldeneye. I don't care what anybody says. Even if it has Famke Janssen in it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Goldeneye's... we'll come back to that maybe at some point in time, but...
It's not good.
I don't think it's that bad. So the spending initially on the film came from Ibrahim's cash account at the BCCI. But apparently partway through the project, Ibrahim began to have second thoughts about the production cost. The film ended up being financed half cash and half in loans from BCCI. Now, director Miller said he spent about $50 million to make the movie. Producer Hyman said the budget was about $40 million. Ibrahim Associates said an internal audit attributed $22.3 million to the film.
Ruh-roh.
So there are some issues with the numbers here, which makes you wonder what was reported to, I don't know, the federal government, and where did all this money go?
Do they have red flags over there?
During filming, 2 cinematographers were fired.
Oh, good.
And Timothy Dalton asked his friend, Freddie Francis, with whom he had been talking, if he would come take over the film, which he did.
Is that a DC character he manifested
Freddie Francis?
as?
Yeah. When he says Osh Bagosh, he becomes a giant hulking muscle man.
Gosh, he's Jimmy Olsen's pal, Freddie Francis.
So the film was being filmed in 86, and it was meant to be released in 87. It would have been a super hot thing, the director Miller said. Brooke Starr was in the ascendancy. She was 21, just graduated from college, and gorgeous. Now again, this is 1987. This is still 2 years from Batman. But they're making this comic book movie
with
Brooke Shields, who's
super
hot
big
and popular
star
at this time, cusp on just breaking out. And Timothy Dalton, who would later this next year become James Bond.
Yeah.
This film really could have done something.
He'd already been in Flash Gordon, and then would later do Rocketeer about the same time that Pierce Brosnan took over James Bond.
Well, no, that's still a bit.
Right. Between then, he played Rhett Butler in the made-for-TV movie sequel to Gone with the Wind.
Oh, yeah.
He did?
Yeah. I guess it's not until 97. The Beautician and the Beast is maybe his next big thing.
That's his next big thing. I don't even know what that is.
You look, that's him and Fran Drescher. It's kind of what led to her TV show.
Really? The Nanny? I thought that came out before that. 97?
No, the Nanny's 93. Oh, I guess the Nanny was already going. So, okay.
Fran Drescher's big thing was UHF by Weird Al.
That's not Fran Drescher's big thing.
It was her debut. Her show came out not too long after that.
UHF 1989. The Nanny is 93.
Michael Richards made one of his bigger, not his only.
Okay,
thing,
I don't think a whole lot of people, just because you loved UHF doesn't mean that many people love UHF. It didn't really launch a whole lot of people.
You would be surprised at the number of famous people that came from that movie. Just saying.
I think people were in it, but I don't necessarily think
Victoria Jackson, Michael Richards,
she was on SNL,
Fran Drescher, David Bowie, not Bowie because they're spelled the same, but they're not the same pronunciation. Cooney, who played, he was in, was it 16 Candles or was it Pretty in Pink?
Getty Watanabe.
I was going to say Watanabe.
Yeah, 16 Candles.
16 Candles, yeah.
He was also in Gremlins 2, The New Batch. Should we say that he was launched from that?
Well, he might have been. I mean, you don't know.
UHF is a special project, but I wouldn't say.
You don't know what came out of those
Gremlins.
That new batch of Gremlins was weird. You don't know what came out of that. It could have been an Asian man. We don't know.
Apparently, Fran Drescher made La Niñera TV. Oh no, these are.
Everybody remembers that. Yeah.
Oh no! Wait. Oh, geez, they're just a bunch of nannies in other countries.
Oh, it's like The Office.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different countries, 5 different visions.
She was probably producer, like
it
Ricky
says
Gervais
creator,
and Stephen Merchant.
So
right,
which is why I think. Well, I think that they used her idea and made other nanny-esque shows.
Exactly. It's exactly like The Office. There's The Office in like 15 different countries.
Are there?
Yeah. Oh,
I
absolutely.
Didn't know that.
Oh, I spent an entire evening pirating all of the different versions, and they are all produced by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant. There's a German one, there's a French one, there's a French-Canadian one, then there's an English-Canadian one, there's a Romanian one. There's seriously 15 or 16 different versions of The Office, and all of them are the exact same plot of the original Office. All of them.
Wow. There's only so many ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Again, this movie was supposed to come out in 87. Maybe it would have been big. Maybe it could have helped launch these burgeoning careers, really do something, really stake a claim in comic book film before Batman really blew up. In May 1987, Phil Isaacs and Hyman, again the producer, representing Mystery Man, started distribution negotiations with New World Pictures. Executive Bob Charon later testified that Hyman said, quote, all rights to the film were available and a deal was arranged. New World wanted to cash in on the fact that Dalton had been cast as James Bond, and they saw things like Batman and Dick Tracy were coming down the pipeline. Mm-hmm. The film was meant to open theatrically in January 1988. However, Ibrahim later decided he wanted a new deal.
I don't see any problems here.
Quote, the Ibrahim people, just didn't understand the movie business, Hyman said. They looked at it like real estate or something. Does that not sound familiar to our current plight?
Sounds pretty familiar, yeah.
One of Ibrahim's representatives said their client was, quote-unquote, prepared to keep the film on the shelf and watch it in the desert on Saturday nights.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If he could not have the kind of distribution deal he wanted. Mystery Man kept the film's negative locked up, claiming New World had not signed a contract. New World then discovered that Tribune, the company that owned the comic, claimed to hold all TV rights to Brenda Starr. That meant they could not make any money off a sale to the TV stations whatsoever. So
Oh, boy.
on July 10th, 1987, Tribune then notified New World that the distribution deal was quote-unquote unacceptable. Mystery Man pulled out of the deal. So in September, New World sued Tomorrow, Mystery Man, and the film's sales agents, claiming fraud, breach of contract, and civil conspiracy.
Whoa.
Mystery Man sought to block New World from distributing the film at all.
Of course they did.
In December 1987, Brooke Shields' mother, Terry Shields, said, "I feel the film's not ready to be released. They need about $60,000 more to re-edit."
Wow.
She wasn't happy with the billing. Brooke's name is not on top, and it's supposed to be. That's our contract.
Oh, man. One of those parents. Ugh.
Oh, 100%.
Ugh. Like a Lohan or a Spears.
So New World still had some rights here, and they sold the film to Zambia, Japan, Belgium, Colombia, Norway, and Swaziland.
All the hits.
And then in February 1980, New World was bought by Path for $189 million. Now, AM Productions then bought the rights to Brenda Starr in January 1990. Quote, "We saw the picture as definitely a Cinderella story," said a representative. "It's sweet, cute, adorable, and charming. These are not words Hollywood likes to use." So AM
Since when? What are you talking about? Have you seen a Hollywood movie ever? Have you seen a trailer?
I think they're thinking Batman just came out, this darker Tim Burton Batman. This is what maybe in their mindset was, from the previous year.
Okay.
So they wanted to go in a different direction. AM/PM cut the running time from 108 minutes to 96 minutes.
Wait, hold on. Is it AM/PM, the gas station chain? AM/PM? Is that who bought the rights?
It's AM and PM Dawn. That's who it is.
It's Tangerine Dream, who finally bought the rights.
Oh, I wish.
Oh, that would be kind of awesome.
So then a new release was set for North America in June 7th, 1991. Triumph Releasing, this is a division of Columbia Pictures, would distribute the film. By August of that year, the film had been shown in Zambia, Norway, and Colombia, but not North America.
Oh my God.
Timothy Dalton, when asked about it, said, "I hope it does come out because there's no point in keeping it hidden."
It's only been delayed because of certain legal wrangles, and then the company that was going to distribute it got bought out.
It's probably the best work Brooke's ever done.
She was very, very good. This style of work suited her. I think, really, of all the stuff of hers I've seen, it's probably the best I've seen her do.
Well, at that point, probably? What else has she done?
Who knows?
I think people know. I mean, her career is well documented. She fucked her brother in a movie and got pregnant. Yes, we all know this.
She fucked her brother. What?
No. Cousin. That's right. It's her cousin. Shipwrecked. Yeah, that's a lot better. No harm, no foul.
Brooke Shields said, "I was so thrilled that it was happening. I think in hindsight, the problem was that it was never backed by a studio. It was Golan and Globus, and it was all sort of fishy to begin with."
Oh, of course it was Golan Globus. Of course it was.
The Cannon Group presents a Golan Globus production.
We also were the first of that kind of comic book movie, and unfortunately it took 7 years to get released. By that point, Batman, Dick Tracy, and others, and every other superhero and cartoon-inspired movie had already come. We were originally going to be part of that first batch. I always thought it was unfortunate because the idea and the cast are both so good. Timothy Dalton! ! She says. But the direction fell short, and it got legally tied up. So to me, it was such a shame. I think that movie could have been... It was really fun, and I thought it was unique, and I love playing that character. She's still one of my favorites, of her plethora to choose from.
The movie is delightful. I'm not at all one iota am I ashamed. I love my performance. I love all the other performances in the film. It's a delightful movie, but unfortunately now the kind of attention it's gotten really detracts from the film itself. It's entertainment, it's fun, and I'm glad it came out.
Oh, okay. When the film was finally released in 1992, it bombed at the box office, making $30,000 in its first week.
Oof!
Negative reviews were then blamed, and the film was pulled from theaters shortly after its theatrical distribution.
Shit, who pulls movies? Not even Cats got pulled. Oh, man, that is rough.
Yeah. So that is the quick, short, and dirty story of the troubled Brenda Starr's film.
That's such a shame.
And how it maybe could have been something if it had come out.
It could have.
It also could have been something if the movie was good at all, because it most certainly isn't. I did watch it before I did the story, and it's kind of all over the place. Like the basic idea of it starts out with Brenda Starr. It actually starts pretty good. It looks kind of Dick Tracy-ish. It has very much that like 1930s on the soundstage kind of vibe to it. Looks cool. It's really kind of leaning into its comic bookiness in that way.
Sure.
Then it kind of cuts to the person drawing it. There's a young man who's the cartoonist.
Oh.
And he's drawing, and Brenda Starr on the page, almost Cool World style, comes to life.
Oh.
And decides to walk out of the comic book thing. And he's like, no, where'd she go? And then he falls asleep on the thing and falls into the comic. But you think that might be the story. That is not the story.
See, if you're going to go Take On Me by Aha, then fine. But like,
yeah,
don't go away from that.
That would be something. For like the next, 15, 20 minutes of the film, you don't see that guy again. It's just Brenda Starr living her life. There's a crazy scientist who has flown to South America because he's created this new chemical that will make water into fuel. She has to try to go track him down and get this scoop. And there is like another female reporter who's trying to beat her at every turn. And then there are all these spies. There's Basil St. John, Timothy Dalton. He shows up.
What about your friends?
I let them all down.
You could never let me down. And you never know when I'll turn up.
I still don't know what his exact role is. He's just there to be suave. They gave him an eye patch just because Timothy Dalton thought it would look cool.
Awesome.
It doesn't fit anything. He's like a super rich, maybe secret agent, maybe international playboy, maybe super scientist. Don't know.
Oh, I know exactly who he is. He is Stephen Colbert's character in Harvey Birdman.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, but sexier.
Ha ha!
Maybe a little less verbose. I can't remember him saying anything. I know he says things. Well, one guy who is not in Harvey Birdman is Jeffrey Tambor, who is in this movie, playing maybe the Russian spy agency head. Doing an awful Russian accent.
That explains a lot because he plays that character in Archer. Essentially that character.
Oh, okay.
It's funny because in Archer, it doesn't matter that it's modern times. It's still the Soviet Union.
Right. And so they are spying on the Libby Lipscomb. That's the other reporter.
Oof.
Oh, Libby Lips, how dare you?
I knew it. I told my editor you were just faking it so you could really milk the O'Shea story. Now I've got proof.
You're just sore because Brenda got the O'Shea story while you were sitting on your claws.
Little man, I don't care about the O'Shea story. Small potatoes.
Who is spying on Brenda. And then there's this... It's a madcap adventure to South America. Filled with all of a sudden... God...
Romancing the Stone?
Like she gets whisked away... If I remember right, she meets the cartoonist who's trying to get her back in the comic, and he's explaining that this is a comic book, and she's like, I'm not going back. You draw me this way and that way, and I don't like how you treat me, and I'm never going back. And he's trying to convince her to get back in the comics, and then he'd go back in the real life, keep his job, instead of, why didn't you stay in the comic with Brooke Shields?
Oh my God.
None of that makes any sense. But she keeps going from him, and then all these spies are trying to get her, and there's this bit where... What are they in, a Spanish, hot dog truck with clown attire on?
Okay, hold on. Let's just break this down. You said a Spanish hot dog truck with clown attire on.
Maybe it's tacos? I don't know.
A Spanish hot dog truck with clown attire on. I am so lost.
Yeah, so was I.
Okay, all right.
They make out, and then they crash into a lake.
Of course.
She runs away. All of a sudden, Timothy Dalton shows up riding a horse in actual Zorro attire.
Yes!
Picks her up. She gets literal stars, graphic stars in her eyes. It wipes out. Then she is on a white horse beside him, magically, riding away. They ride onto a plane. The plane bottom comes out. They ride up onto it and fly to his villa in, I don't know, Colombia.
That horse, I guarantee you, is called Miracle. The white horse.
Well, thankfully it wasn't called Wildfire.
No, I was going to say the other one's probably called Wildfire.
So I think it was trying to be like, let's keep upping the ante and be... Unfortunately, it goes from tongue-in-cheek, winking at the camera, having some nods towards the comic book world, to just being outright ridiculous and more insane, but without any of the comedy that you need.
Or context?
They get kidnapped on a paddle boat in the Amazon, and they have a Swedish captain who then gets fed to piranhas.
Okay.
And then they have to escape the piranhas. Then everybody winds up in the water. Somehow she swims away, and she then wrangles up 2 alligators that she rides, like with reins. Like they have a rope in their mouth, and she's holding it, and she's on it like a jet ski on these 2 alligators.
Right. Okay. So it's a little like True Grit meets, what is that? That Bond one.
With Val Kilmer?
Bond.
Oh, I was thinking,
Yaphet Kotto.
Yeah.
Live and Let Die? Where he's in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, and Yaphet Kotto is like the death mask and all that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. With Christopher Lee?
No, Christopher Lee's the man with the golden gun.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure. It's either that or Octopussy, but I'm pretty sure it's...
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's that. No, okay.
I would say it's much more like Top Secret than it is like James Bond.
Well, what do you think Top Secret got it? Come on. That's where you get Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
No, it is. Well, that's what Top Secret got it from. I'm pretty sure it was from Live and Let Die.
But it's leaning more towards one than the other. It doesn't matter.
I get it. It's like a lot of those not another teen movie or like not another scary movie or whatever. They don't get the original joke. They don't understand it. They're riffing on something that's already a satire or parody. I think that's biggest problem there. I mean, it's like Scary Movie doesn't understand that it's riffing on already a satire. Just like with Top Secret, like you're gonna riff on Top Secret. It's like you don't understand that's a Zucker Brothers movie. I mean,
I think you're being a little too harsh to some of those. I think they have some things going for them.
I mean, like those ones that are like not another epic movie.
Oh no, I think I would say whatever the Twilight parody film.
What, there are Twilight parody films?
Yeah,
I thought those are like not another teen movie.
Vampires Suck. Isn't that the 2010?
Oh, I don't fucking know.
I don't think it was trying to be as much parody as like it was silliness instead of sincerity.
Okay.
The whole film, it devolves. I can see, knowing some of the history of making of it, I can see kind of stuff seem to get rewritten. I think it probably had a more serious adventure tone, almost like a female Indiana Jones reporter vibe.
Okay.
Let's throw in more wackiness and literal comic book scene wipes, stuff like that, where it's like, here, let's really let them know that this is a comic book, right? And that you don't need to take any of it seriously or really get invested because we aren't.
We're not taking it seriously because we don't take the genre seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like half Romancing the Stone and then half the actual Alan Quartermain movies with Sharon Stone, where they kind of touch on the source material, but then they don't understand it. And then they touch on Indiana Jones, which is riffing on the source material, but they don't understand that either.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that they didn't have a grasp on.
Yeah.
And didn't know what they were doing. As far ahead of their time that they were also behind the times for what was actually going to be viable in a comic book film.
You're right. I mean, like, a lot of that has to do with just, poor production, poor writing, poor directing, whatever. But also, the idea that they didn't understand what archetypes they were playing off of. It's like why the Salkinds couldn't make a good Superman movie. Why Donner had to fix it for them. They didn't understand what they had. They didn't understand that that's not what those characters are, what those tropes are, or whatever.
Yeah, I think the film really would have benefited from making her an actual heroine she was the focus of the story, not this side plot about the guy trying to get her back into the comic.
Right, because that's just kind of misogynistic.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, and if you could have had her do maybe some reporting.
As a reporter? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, yeah, maybe a little something.
She's essentially Lois Lane and then inspired April O'Neil. But in that movie, she doesn't do either.
Yeah. Although I would have liked to see Lois Lane in any of the movies write a story.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, well, she does in Superman Returns, but
yes, that's. I mean, how many decades do we need for her to actually write a story?
No, I agree.
In any of the films,
I agree. The reason it doesn't ring great for us is because that was a terrible Lois Lane. So whatever. But
was that Bosworth?
Yeah, it was Bosworth. It was Brian Bosworth. Yeah.
The Boz, man.
No, isn't that her daughter? I think that's his daughter.
This story is stone cold, my friend.
No, I think that's literally his daughter.
What?
I think that's...
No
way. Did you look at the two of them?
No. No, is it true?
I think it might be. I mean, I might be wrong, but I mean...
When you type that in, like I typed in Brian Bosworth, Kate Bosworth, one of the top one, no relation of Kate Bosworth in the trivia.
Okay.
2, let's see, the third thing down says, who cares about Brian Bosworth? ?
Bo Jackson sure as fuck doesn't. Oh, man. That's great.
Yeah, I think that's just the internet.
I think she's related to somebody famous, though.
Let's see, Kate Bosworth trivia. A champion equestrian.
Heterochromia.
Veteran member of the Appalachia Service Project.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That'll do well on her application to our podcast. I don't know what the fuck that is.
She was in Princeton.
The movie Princeton.
Oh, no.
She
had been accepted to Princeton. She had been accepted to Princeton, but she repeatedly deferred her acceptance, probably for the sake of movie production, it says.
Oh, okay. All right.
Stepmother of Jasper Polish.
It's not a real person's
Michael
name.
Polish. Has 2 cats, Louise and Dusty.
Well, thank God we know that.
I don't see anybody famous. I don't know. Nothing shows up in the trivia, so.
It's probably just bullshit I heard. Yeah. I don't know.
well, all the Kate Bosworth facts turned out to be bullshit.
I gotta stop asking my heroin dealer about Kate Bosworth. I really do. It's just not gonna.
Hey man, Kate Bosworth, she's the fucking daughter of Brian Bos, man.
For some reason, I'm asking Bill Paxton from Aliens about Kate Bosworth. I don't know why I keep doing that. He's dead.
Oh, yeah.
He is dead.
That's sad.
Kate Bosworth was in a movie, a horror movie I saw not too long ago.
Barbarian?
She was in a Barbarian.
She wasn't Barbarian.
Was she? Where was she in Barbarian? She wasn't the main woman.
She plays Melissa.
Oh,
I don't know who
thank God.
It just says Melissa. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you?
I don't remember her in that at all.
I don't remember. I don't know who Melissa is.
Was she the one that was there
Maybe she was the one who got kidnapped, maybe?
Was she the one that was already there before that they took over the lease from her or whatever? Or because Justin Long is the one he's the Barbarian.
I'm thinking that maybe she was the one that...
Oh, in the pit?
Richard Brake in the past?
Remember he gets trapped in the pit with the other person? And
no spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, because I mean, Barbarian with spoilers is just
no. It's a great movie without spoilers. 100% great movie. With spoilers, it doesn't.
I think we're not okay. One, we're not going to figure out who she is, so we shouldn't.
All right, fine, whatever.
We're just going to spoil the movie.
All right, fine.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is Brenda Starr.
Right, I know. All right. Anyway, let's wrap this Brenda Starr.
Yeah, no, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. It's all done.
Fine. Now it's Brenda Starr.
That's Brenda Starr. That's Brenda Starr. The movie sucked. So
poor Brooke Shields.
There you go.
She could have been one of the leading superhero actresses of all time, and unfortunately, she was in Brenda Starr. So
yeah, unfortunately, she's just she's known for the Blue Lagoon and Pretty Baby.
Yep.
One where she fucks her brother in an island. The other one where she's sold into prostitution.
And then fucks her brother.
And the 1970-year-old as a 12-year-old girl raised in a brothel in 1917 New Orleans. Great, great. Good stuff.
That's why she and Jodie Foster are such good friends.
She's also known for Furry Vengeance with Brendan Fraser.
Oh, it better be Furry Vengeance.
Yeah, well, it is, but not with furries.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, for that, you need a Michael Shannon Christmas movie.
Oh, dear God.
Which I did watch Christmas time.
Oh.
This past year. Little aside. You might want to...
Yeah, I might want to.
I gotta tell you what, it's not Hank the Cow Dog. It's,
Well, thank God it's not Hank the Cow Dog.
Which Michael Shannon was in. It's Pottersville.
Okay.
If you don't know the idea behind Pottersville, Maynard, a beloved local businessman, is mistaken for the legendary Bigfoot during an inebriated romp through town in a makeshift gorilla costume. So then he has to pretend to be the gorilla. But this all starts because he walks in on his wife, played by Christina Hendricks, in a furry costume, doing pseudo-sexual activities with Ron Perlman, also in a furry costume.
Who is not in a costume.
So then they have to get Thomas Lennon. He shows up as this fake Bigfoot hunter with his TV program he's trying to sell.
Oh my God.
But then there's Ian McShane, who shows up as the real Bigfoot hunter.
Can't call everybody a cocksucker.
And Judo Greer is the nice gal who's trying to fall in love with him from the get-go and the sidelines.
Now, you did say
you
did say Judo Greer, so I'm very confused as to if it's Judy Greer or Judy Greer.
Yeah. No, it's Judy Greer with a kung fu grip. That's becomes Judo Greer.
That Judo Greer, okay. It's like it's the bastard cousin of Udo Kier. But
we hope you guys have enjoyed yourself and learned something about Judo Kier and Bigfoot.
I don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'm in.
We're
too
toast.
Deep, folks.
It's
yeah. So please like, share, subscribe if you want any more of this ridiculousness that we.
If you can tell us where we're going with this, please let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Please reach out so that we know what we're doing, because obviously we've got no clue.
Oh, man.
Follow us on social media. Someday we'll do something with that. If you wouldn't mind giving us 5-star... 5 Michael Shannon stars.
5 Judy Greers.
5 Judo Greers on the podcast app of your choice. Ideally, Apple Podcast. That is the best way for us to get seen.
That's not a Tarantino character, by the way, Judo Greer.
Maybe in his next film.
Oh, the movie critic? Whatever.
Skip, before we get arm broken by Judo Greer, what should we do?
We should probably take more judo classes with Judy Greer or Udo Kier. But in the interim, please make sure you have paid your tabs. Make sure you've cleaned up after yourself to some sort of reasonable degree. Make sure you have tipped your bartenders, KJs, podcast hosts, and make sure you support your local comic shops and retailers. And from Dispatch Ajax, we would like to say, Godspeed, Udo Kier.
Judo Greer, is that what you said?
Wow, never tangled with a redhead.